Hey man. Can you hear me? Is my mic working? Guess so. Oh, it's going more the can. Hey guys. Hi ZBrush. How's it going, man? So yeah, today I'm just gonna continue this guy. I left off like 3 months ago. I did that's a very quick blocking right now, so I think I'm gonna change a little bit where I was going with the concept. Instead of putting some sci-fi stuff everywhere, I'm gonna mix it with the creature. You have a cold, man? Where are you living? It's night where you are? Or? So yeah, I'm just gonna try here to go with the creature, kind of flesh. I'm gonna just isolate. Just gonna create a polygroup so it's out of the way. Do you hear the music? Is it too loud or not enough? Oh, nice. It's like now I moved to Vancouver, so I guess now it's like 9 hour time zone difference. Mother Canary, no, just saying that this guy's from North Europe, and that I just moved to Vancouver, and then now in a different time zone. That's why I'm a bit later. I'm 3 hours different from where I was before. It's my first stream in Vancouver yet. Yeah, we're talking about you, man. Looks like you didn't give up on those stream, huh, more the corner. Yeah, here I intended to do a piece of cloth, so might keep it, not sure. Oh, and that's a mess. So maybe what I'm gonna do instead, I'm just gonna push back the arm inside, and I want to do like a cage here, like a thorax. So I'm gonna push the arm back, like if it was going maybe from the back a little, the second arm. And here, instead of doing a shoulder, I'm gonna do cage. I'm just gonna give the idea. And then here I can do a shoulder. It's gonna be something like this. Just gonna do it quickly. So yeah, maybe something like this. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure where I'm going with this right now. I might want to do more like of a streamline here. And here maybe put some more text stuff. This is very rough, just some ideas. Yeah, I think it's gonna be over budget for I think it's gonna have a huge deodorant budget. Yeah, that's a thing, huh? Is it gonna be complicated to go back there. I guess not. Well, I think it's gonna be a stinky creature anyway. From hell. I really want to make it dark. I'm not sure about that hoodie thing. And then those things I did last time, I think I'm gonna remake them, or I don't know, I'm not a fan of how it came up. Not sure about this. We'll see. So it would be nice to make some kind of skin overlap on the tech, like if the tech was embedded in a skin. Are you guys doing any sculpt today? So here I might go with a bigger piece of tech. I'm just gonna go in and take the AccuCurve thing. I think it's done under modifiers. Let's just AccuCurve here. Just gonna bring it here. So now I get my AccuCurve. AccuCurve is making some nice, more precise moving, like spike. Yeah, man, I'm using Glucolongi Madcap. It's actually Ashley who did use it, and then I asked her about it. Just gonna lower the music a little bit. Yeah, it's Ashley who was using it, and I was like, "Whoa, that material is nice." So I'm gonna start using. But actually, it's good also. I like this one because you see the spec well. Plus, like the spec is not too invasive. I did one here, Z-Skin, which I started to use. It's nice. It's kind of the same idea. It's like a blue spec. I think there's two spec modifiers, spec 1 and spec 2. And then I modified it a little bit at work, just to put a little bit less specular on it, which is kind of nice. You can always lower it. I like this one too. It's because you have the standard matcap, which doesn't really have a lot of specs. So when you're doing creature and stuff, it's good to have some specular. And this one is like 2-layer, and I just dim it down a little bit. But if I turn 1, I'm just gonna push it on the side here. So there's one spec that is not more tight, kind of. Here you can see, and then you can just tie it down. And then the second one is the one that's super tight. So yeah, I'm just gonna turn it on. So like that's like a wet spec. And if I go here and then dial it down, I'm just gonna turn up the first one just to see how it looks like. And I can dial it down a little bit, and then put both at the same time. So now you have like a kind of a dual spec thing. It's very good for creature when you, or human when you're doing pores and stuff like this. I'm gonna dial down the second spec. Yeah, and you can always, here the first diffuse, you can always lower it so it's a bit darker. Remove a little bit of ambient to have more contrast. Thanks, ZBrush. Oh yeah, that's true. They did the big interface change on the last version. Didn't try it yet. Guess I'm gonna have to get to it to learn, because it looks like you have to get used to it now. It's not like just, it's like new way of using the tool, right? Red wax. I hate the red wax. I really hate it. It's like I can't see anything with this. I'm new to ZBrush. I'm wondering what the process should be for merging multiple subtools as one piece to sculpt things. Yeah, sure, man. Me, when I sculpt, I usually do it in multiple subtools, especially when you have tech stuff like this. For creature, it's good to have one tool. You can always go here and there's some merge options. You can merge the tool down, so it's gonna merge with the tool underneath. And you can merge visible subtool, which all the visible subtools gonna be merged. And also when things are merged, let's say, I'm just gonna go here quickly on a new subtool. I'm gonna add a sphere here. So let's say I want to add the sphere and I want to sculpt on top. I can just go here, merge down. So now they're merged. I can dynamesh it. So now they're very merged. So I can continue to sculpt on it very easily. You can always mirror and weld, so you have it on both sides. So yeah, that's how I would do it. Don't know if it answered your question. I made the Z script last this week. It's very useful. I can show you quickly what it does. It's just when your model is finished and you want to export it, dynamish it. Basically, you I have it here. Well, it's just text, so. So yeah, basically what it does, there's a function here where it apply the it apply if you have a dynamic subdivision, it apply it make polygons out of it. It's just not like dynamic anymore. It's gonna create subdivision levels, clear the mask, bake all the layers, delete the lower subdivisions, go to the highest subdivision levels, delete the lower, delete hidden if there's hidden part, and then clear the mask for all the subtools. So it goes in all the subtools, does this, and it merged them together, and then there's a maximum poly count here. So you can say, let's say for example 6 million polygon maximum per tool. So it's gonna merge down until it reaches that 6 million polygon, then it's gonna go to the next. So it's gonna make, like, instead of having 100 subtools with a million polygon each, it's gonna make, like, I don't know, 10 subtools with 20 million polygon each, and after it's very easy to decimate them. I've started using it. It's pretty. It works pretty well. Then after, when everything's merged, let's say you have 10 subtool with 20 million, you can just go in ZPlugin. ZPlugin here. Then the decimate master, you can pre-process all, and since all the subtool are cleaned and then at the highest, and then there's no subdivision levels, it's gonna go and process all of them, and you can decimate all of them at once, and then you're gonna have like a 20 million polygon tool, and at the end you can just import in Maya to do a nice render out of it. Basically what I did, I'm starting to render my my Sci-Fi robot. I can show you quickly. So yeah, that's a keyshot render I did for the. It's a robot I did during my streams. Oops, my mouse is. Wait. So yeah, that's a robot I did during my streams, and that's a keyshot render. But I'm not a fan of the shading, and then what I did. So I'm just gonna bring it in something like Arnold or V-Ray, and then do this kind of same process. So for this, I had to decimate all the model, so Maya could handle it. I'm just gonna kill that thing. Yeah, there we go. Dude, I don't understand people who's eating ananas and pizza. sugar with pizza. It's like weird. I don't know. Not a fan. Oops. So I'm gonna just make a quick plate here. So do this, I'm just gonna duplicate my tool, then hide, and then delete it. I'm gonna have to delete my subdivision levels before I do this. Delete it. I'm just gonna scale it a little. The slice curve here. Let's start slicing it. With the edge polish, I can very flatten the surface here. And then I can go and zero mesh that thing and then freeze the border. I'll have something more decent. You can always use the clip curve. Have it here. And just bend it. I'm just gonna slice it before. Oops, this curve here. And I'm gonna create a couple of loops so I can bend it better. There we go. Slice. I'm just gonna add a couple of loop. Cool. I'm just gonna crease here. Yeah, now I have semi-clean surfaces. Sorry about that tonight. Why? What's the thing with the pineapple pizza? Now I can just create quick thickness. There's multiple ways to do this. I guess extrude out polygon will just work fine. Go inside like this, flip it. And you can always and then when I'm gonna subdivide it, I'm gonna clean those things. I'm gonna push this in a little bit inward so we don't see it anymore. It was just an idea. And I'd like the shape to overlap a little bit. Put it inside the ear. And now after I can just subdivide it, I guess, and start adding details to it. I could always duplicate it. Like this, change the shape a little. It's always good to move the surfaces when they are low res before subdividing it. It's easier to move things around like this. Let's do something like this. I'm gonna start subdividing it a couple of times. Polygon is good. Make some new detailing here. Smooth it. No. I like to break silhouettes too for my shapes. Just do a little group here so I can isolate this piece. Yes, I was using dynamic subdivisions most of the piece. Then I just subdivide it when I want to start adding details and polish them a little. This, I can always try to clip it there. Might try something new here, maybe. I'm just gonna mask something around there. Maybe I'll try to magnify. Facet it maybe a little bit more. maybe something like this. You can always start adding some alpha. I don't know if I still have them, I guess. So that's the guy. That's some alphas I buy from a guy. Which are really nice. I really like this one. That's too much. It's good to be careful not to overdo alpha's work. How do you make the brush open where the cursor is? How do you make the brushes? Oh, that thing here. That's a custom menu I just make here. Ali brushes. You can go in preference here, custom UI, create a new menu. When you are under enable customize, create a new menu here. It's asking you for a name, then it's going to create a new menu here. Then you can just drag drop your brush in there. But when enable customize in, you can control click any button in the interface and you can just drag them in those menu. And then when you're happy, you just go and store the config, so it's going to store your menu. And when you control alt click on any ZBrush menu item, you can assign a shortcut to it. So if you control alt click on here, it's gonna tell you what shortcut you want to put. So me, I put 1. So when I hit 1, it's triggering this menu here. So yeah, that's basically it. You can find a lot of that info on customizing ZBrush interface. If you want me to go more in depth, no worry, I can explain you a little bit slower. I really like this. It's like I have a second one here, Ali Create, which is all the tool I like. My brushes here. And sometimes like the annoying thing with this is that if you double click on a brush, it's gonna open the brush menu and you can just, sometimes I just double click here and then I click too quick and then I go like, let's say clay. So now my move brush is clay, so by accident I changed it to clay. You can bring back your move if you double click and then go take the move. But the thing is, if you take something that's triggered by Control Shift, like a select rect here, then it doesn't work anymore. So you're kind of screwed with this. So the way I found to restore it is just go and config restore custom UI, then it comes back to. Thanks, Mordecai. Thanks for the info. So I might just go, what I think I'm gonna do here is that for this piece I'm gonna go with smaller, a bit smaller here. So we can see a little bit more of the creature flesh. Here maybe something like this. I'm gonna fix this later. Then what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna redesign a little bit here. So I want the creature flesh to come up to here. So yeah, I'm gonna have this kind of maybe Y shape. Here I'm gonna have to break it a little bit more. So yeah, I'm still very in the early design process. I'm just having fun. It's always nice to just change your idea. I never get stuck to my first design idea. I always changed stuff during the concept. So when I load the tool that I started, and then I load the finished tool, it's very different. So it's like if they empty like his organs and then they replace it by some technical stuff like fake organs. So I really want the skin to overlap the tech like this. Yeah, the double click I always do it by accident. Then I found this restore custom UI. It's good, very good to know. Restore custom UI is very useful too when sometimes the brush crash and then your menu doesn't reappear or there's some bugs, so you can just go in and restore custom UI and then it's gonna come back. So my skin is still under in like a very big dynamesh, so I don't worry about the detailing now. I'm just trying to find big shapes. Eventually I'm gonna go in and probably zero mesh it and start to do the detailings. So that could be like the abs here, I guess. I can always do like there was some cage, like a second cage. It's a creature, so it's not necessarily human anatomy. Maybe something like this. Here it's a place that moves a lot, so I cannot go too crazy on the mechanical part. It has to. I like to break it like apart like this, so it can overlap and then potentially move. Maybe weld them with the skin a little bit like this. I have this brush here. It's like usually I use it for fold, but I use it a lot for like kind of skin stretching. I really like the orb brush also to sketch some Cintiq thing. I'm not a fan of that super big plate. It's like it's lacking something, so I'm just going to design some stuff here. But have you ever used the gradient button below the color palette? Nope, never. I don't even know what it's for. This will create again here from the main color and poly painting on the surface. It's mostly for poly painting, and I don't really use the poly painting inside ZBrush. I guess I could just get rid of it because it takes some. Yeah, I could just get. That's useful. Those two colors here. Switch color. I know the shortcut for this, so I can just make some little bit more place. I'm just trying some stuff here. Nope. Did it in. So I like to clone the standard just to to have my tool dragging here, so I don't have always to reselect them. Try to do something cool. Yeah, something like that. Just to break, because it's very big and it's very planar, so I just want to break it a little bit. And then I'm gonna delete lower weld. I can always reconstruct my subdiv to have some. Aronotosu, 26 million points, so I guess maybe 30 or 40 million. It's gonna get worse. But I have tricks to reduce it at the end. I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna save first because it's been a while. The thing you have to watch here, it's vertices, it's not triangles, but that's the total point. That's the active subtool here, has 3 million points. So it's like, what, 4, maybe 10 million polygons, triangles. The thing I just want to do here is I'm gonna make a couple of clips that's just clipping the sci-fi stuff to the skin. So since I'm gonna repeat it, I'm just gonna make a brush out of it very quickly, doing something like a key cube here. This. I'm gonna start with the Z modeler quickly here, just. Q mesh, single poly, and this. I'm just making a clip. Decrease by polygroup to dynamic. Q mesh poly loop. That's nice here, so I can add a quick loop that I can crease by polygroup here like this. I'm gonna mirror and weld in Y. And yeah, I think we can always add another one here. I'm just gonna create an insert mesh, a new one, so now I can drag it easily. And I'm gonna add in something random, like a gear. And now I can just drag it like this. Something like this maybe. many points do you usually make your model? I usually go with the 100 millions polygon, maybe 2 or 3, I guess it's like 2 or 3 100 millions poly points. Well, points. ZBrush can handle like a ton, so it's not really a matter, because anyway, after, if it's for a game, you retopo it, right, and you bake with normal maps. I have a question related working setup and experience with Cintiq. Yeah, I love the Cintiq, man. I couldn't go back on a tablet. I really like the Cintiq. I have a Cintiq, pretty decent computer with a lot of RAM and good CPU. Yeah, 200 million. I have some work models that went up to 3 million, 300 million. But it's all separated onto different subtool. You cannot have one subtool with 300 million polygon. ZBrush won't like it. You have to separate it in multiple subtools. You can have like 100 subtools with like a total of 200 or 300 million polygon. Okay, see, especially when you start to apply alphas, you need to start subdividing so it doesn't look too, there's not too much artifacts on it. So here I'm just gonna go and do a clay polish, just so it looks a bit sharper. You can always smooth a little bit of the clay polish. Danielo. Hola, man. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Estás bien? ¿Está bien? Muy bien. Don't really speak Spanish. I speak French though, if you want. Hablo poquito Spanish. Plan to buy a Cintiq and going to get it from a Okay, so the chest starting to be a bit detailed. I'm gonna come back on it. I'm still trying to figure out. There's some stuff I really don't like. The arms are very rough right now. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and then do part of the skirt. So it's gonna kind of balance the amount of detail while I'm working. I like when I work not just focus on one area like this, because then it gets very detailed and then all the rest gets unbalanced. I like to work a little bit there and then work somewhere else, detail it, then the whole model starts to get detailed at the same time. So it's like if you sketch and then you start with the blocking or the sketching and then you detail it overall. Because if you just start on a hand here and make it super detailed, come back here, detail, and then you go back, you look at the old, and then it's gonna be weird because you didn't check the old thing at first, or keep the old silhouette in mind. So for the skirt, I'm just gonna go ahead and make like kind of a sci-fi teeth, like shark teeth. So I'm just gonna save this quickly. So I'm gonna start with this sphere now. So make polymesh. I'm gonna make shape of a shark teeth. Just gonna dynamish it. I want it to be mirrored, so I'm just gonna go mirror weld in the Z. The widen. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna start to clip it, or maybe I'm just gonna scale it down a lot, so the dynamesh is gonna be. So now I have the lower dynamesh. Did anyone of you try the Dell canvas? It looks nice too. So since I'm gonna duplicate these things a lot, I'm gonna make a curve tool out of it. I want it to be detailed, so I won't have to resculpt too much on it. And also I want it to be low poly, so I'm probably gonna just dismake it a little after. Yeah, that's good to me. I don't want to spend too much time on that model too, so I don't make things super clean, which is fine. That's gonna be seen from like that far, so. I'm gonna merge that down, do a quick decimation, should be so long. That's perfect. You can always subdivide it after, a little bit like this. And then I'm gonna create a curve tool out of this, create new. So here, I don't want to weld anything, res is 1. So yeah, that's cool. Like it, I can always make it. Oh, that's because my new UI usually I have the, I think it's in stroke, the distance between, yeah, the curve steps here. So I guess 0.8 is gonna be fine. Yeah, that's cool. So now I'm just gonna save that brush. And then come back on my model here. Then I'm gonna make that cool skirt here. So I'm gonna have to restart it. So I can go with the topology brush. Just make something very simple to start with. Not worry about what I'm doing. I'm adding a loop so I can isolate this thing here. I'm gonna delete here because there's triangle. Deleted. I'm just gonna go here like this. Take up the IQ curve. Widen it. So that's gonna be big letter piece. I'm gonna try to make as much possible squares, so it's not rectangle polygons, to have an even topology. I'm just gonna start to do one side and then duplicate on the other side, so that it didn't. I'm gonna increase everything. And I can make some thickness. Then I'm gonna go with crease edge loop partial. So I'm just creasing that edge here and that edge so I can do my stroke here, curve modifier, curve function, and then frame a curve from just the creasing I did. And now I can put my spikes. So the orientation is bad, but that's easy to fix. Delete here, and then I'm gonna split that mask. There's some nice leather stems here. I really like them. Yeah, Sigil, thanks, man. So your internet that is good now? Oh, that's crap. Yeah, I guess it's late. I'm trying to create as much overlap as possible here, so we could get a nice variety of shapes and also I try to break the symmetry as much as possible, especially when it's like starting to get nice. It's gonna be nicer when it's gonna be all around, I guess. Trying to make them, then trying to convey a little bit the gravity. Yeah, I went a bit fast on this, but it's not crazy detailed. I'm just, that's gonna be key with this character. And I'm treating it more as a concept than a final model. I have some clothing brush, but I'm not a fan. They're nice, but they are very like, you know, when I use it, it's like it's always going to be the same kind of TRF, so I try to avoid using them. I'm just adding some nice quick and dirty details. So yeah, the feet, I'm not sure about the feet too. I think it's probably gonna change. So yeah, that's gonna start to balance the characters. You see, there's some detail here, there's some detail on the bottom. So I kind of see that when I'm gonna start at the detail here and then the arm. Just going by big shape first. Yeah, I don't want to go out too much of the silhouette, so I'm just gonna bring it back a little bit. Turn that in. I want the silhouette to kind of retain that shape. What I can do is maybe take them out, take the cloth out. I think what I'm gonna do instead of this, I'm just breaking the shape, just breaking the curve at the hip. Like, Something like this. Maybe here. I think this thing here is gonna be some creature flesh. Maybe here too. Well, I don't know where I'm going next. I think I could do the harm. Nice. Have some nice creature sculpt here. The face too, I'm gonna rework on the face. Hey, Babu the Snake. Thanks, man. It's very early stage now. I'm still on the blocking. Bad blocking. A bit more than the blocking. But there's a lot of stuff I'm still figuring out. Just gonna do some veins here. Veins are always cool. Hey, Crow FP. How's it going, man? Thanks. Yeah, can show you, old buddy. Just there's something I don't like about this head. I'm gonna have to fix it eventually. This is where I'm at. It's pretty rough, still rough. But there's something bugging me about this head since the beginning. Yeah, maybe a stronger jaw's gonna help. I don't want to make him too weak. Yeah, that's a bit better. Also, are you going to poly paint it? No, not in ZBrush. I like to just do some render passes and then do a Photoshop thing on top. The neck is weak, so I'm gonna take. A bit of a stronger neck here. Stronger trapezies. I like to use keyshot bridge, but I definitively prefer some renders like Arnold or Viri. If I can decimate it and bring it back in those renders, that's the best, because I think you have more control over the passes and the compositing after. But this guy, I still don't really know what I'm gonna do with him. Yeah, retime is nice because you can. It's very fun to texture in real time. I think it's a lot easier to render in real time, but it's also nice to do just a quick Photoshop comp. Hmm. For the ground fish spine thingy, did you use this thing here? I guess talking about like the yeah. I made it earlier. I made this thing and then do a curve brush out of it pretty quickly. Put some wrinkle here. The face is gonna start to look a bit more dark as I'm gonna start to add details on it. Because right now it looks a bit too much joyful to my taste. But the thing is very important to not do the same detail and all over the place, but to do a lot of variation in the detailing. Yeah, of course. I'm gonna add some alphas at the end. I like to sculpt things also by hand instead of using alphas. You have more control. But, you know, when you have a plain surface here like this, I'm just gonna create wrinkles around the mouth in place that usually like stretch or move a lot. Then I use the inflate brush just to overlap the shapes, the volume, so you can see it a bit better. And maybe just to blend it with the skin here. Like here, I could always take a skin brush, I guess. Reptilian, no. I'm gonna have to remove those teeth and then make a subtool instead.
This guy is kind of, if he's a reptile or it's kind of alienish. I guess it's gonna be a mix of some insect, reptile, yeah, mix of everything. I just want it at the end to be a bit creepy. I like creepy stuff. Teeth, like pointy teeth, a bit random like this, help to sell that idea. Maybe 2 rows of teeth. What tablet do I use at work? The same than here, Cintiq 22 HD. Then with the group, if I have multiple group here, I can mask by polygroup. And then start to move the teeth individually just to remove the symmetry. Just breaking up the teeth a little bit so they don't look too much CG. With the symmetry, just make some teeth. Maybe remove one so you lost one. Or it's broken. Close those. It's nice to have surface detail just to break the speck. And then have some different surface detail too. So it's like different kind of not material but shapes.
And add a lot of veins. Maybe more like an almond eye than. Oh, crash. I'm not a fan of that super big eye here. Screwing a little bit my topology here, but I want. That's bad. I don't know. It's the new version of ZBrush. 4.8. Do you have the 4.8 version? It's like, I think it's kind of new feature. Yeah, it always saves. That's what's cool about that new version. There might be some crashes, but at least it saves. That makes me think that would be a good idea to save it.
Yeah, that eye is getting cooler. Just gonna save quickly. Yeah, it's since 4.8. I got some crashes, but I always recover my files. Yeah. But yeah, losing some sculpting work, there's nothing more frustrating. When you feel you're at a good point or you did a good thing and then it crashed. Yeah, no, I don't like that. Just gonna come back a little bit. I'll come back on his face a little bit later.
brushes. Hey dude, long time no see. How's it going, man? It's been, for me, it's been, what, 3 months I didn't stream at all. I was moving, so I took a break. You gotta be careful not adding too much in this wrinkle. It's very important to keep a balance in the detailing. I'm really having a hard time with those things. I don't know what I want to do with this. That's another very important thing I need to do, it's those ends. As long as those ends are not done, it's like it's a very big focus area of the character, right, the ends, so if I let them blobby like this, there's always something's gonna look not cool, so if I do those ends correctly, then it's gonna start to be way cooler, I think. I'm just gonna separate the ends. Oops. Yeah, I'm just gonna separate the ends and work them separately and then remerge them after. It's gonna be easier. Whoops. I just saved, so it's fine. Deleted. There we go. Danish, a bit higher.
I think the head is too big, so I'm just gonna take this thing here, center it to the head, and then use the multi-selection tool. Oh shit, the head is... Yep. And just deselect everything else. Just gonna look from far, just to be sure the head is not too big. The smaller the head is, the bigger the character is gonna look like. So. Hey, Camel, please. Thanks, man. That's nice. Glad you like it. Still a early work in progress, but it's getting better. I'm really not liking those things. I'm having a really hard time with this thing. Might just go to the garbage eventually, I guess. Hey there, Jan. Please show how second arm is connected to the body. It's not really right now. It's like this. It's gonna be like in the back. Like I'm just gonna put the shoulder like kinda here somewhere. I'm gonna try something quickly.
My hand is not done. Just wanted to add it on the second arm. At least if there's some detail on it, it's gonna look less. Less rough. I'm gonna add some tube because I like tubes. So yeah, that's it. That's it for today, I guess. It's 4 o'clock, so it's over. Did a pretty good progress. So I'm gonna be back next month. I'm probably gonna continue this guy. I don't think I'm gonna continue it during the month. Just gonna continue from where I am right now. Just want to see the quick progress. So that was at the beginning. That's now. So yeah, I changed a little bit. The design. I still have that hoodie somewhere, which could be cool. To make eventually. Something like this. Yeah, I might keep this idea. But yeah, I think it's better. So yeah, bye bye. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next streams.